So what we would do as the BC Conservatives is make sure that we're utilizing provincial labour adjustment programs. And I have worked on these before and been able to provide training as well as a link to employment. And I would match those training opportunities with the labour that's needed out in the field. Also, in agriculture, I've heard that significant issues around that, and that will require working with the federal government to make sure that we can bring in the kind of labor that's required. I believe they're around 30% downers. So those are two initiatives that I would work on, and I believe also in working with the Chamber on this important initiative.
First of all, people are the economy, and so by helping people, we are helping the economy. We have made an unprecedented $8 billion investment in folks so that they can buy goods and services at small businesses, which will help businesses to create jobs. We also have a grant to train workers to upgrade their skills so that they can get jobs. We've also invested in 7,000 new family supporting jobs in healthcare to help combat the COVID crisis.
I fundamentally believe that the question of the labor force is a misleading one. I think that the labor force is a question where we try to understand getting people back to doing work, getting people back to feeling a sense of pride. But I think we can more and more, as our society progresses, understand that that sense of pride and value and purpose can very much be detached from the physical labor of our sweat. I think we need a society that generally rapidly understands a global dynamic where the labor market needs to shift dramatically and technologically improve in ways that our value isn't determined by our labor, and an economic system in British Columbia that can thrive in the absence of labor, but create mechanisms and reinforcement tools so that the labor that is necessary and it is valued can go back efficiently and quickly after this pandemic.
That's a great question. In terms of finding the jobs for the labor force, I note, and I've mentioned this earlier, we subsidize fossil fuels in Canada to the tune of $60 billion. That's according to the International Monetary Fund. And yet that same money, if it was put in renewables, study after study shows will create 3 times the number of jobs. Good jobs that people would like to work at. So we'll be motivating people that way. Trying to do as we have been doing, giving people money to stay home, hasn't necessarily been the best thing for the employers, but it might be helping control the viral spread. At some point that has to change. We have to move more to a model where we encourage people to work, and how to do that with it, be it a wage subsidy or some other mechanism, I haven't thought that one through, to be totally honest with you. Canada has some real possibilities. We all talk about clean tech. And if we develop the clean tech industry, it will generate a lot of jobs. It'll generate a lot of money, including exports. The Green Party is very keen on green tech, as am I.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big problem I'm hearing a lot about, particularly in the hospitality industry and in agriculture, where it's very difficult to find people to work in those sectors. And it's complicated because the federal government CERB program, which is winding down, has been, in some cases, a disincentive for people to return to work, even when it's offered to them. And there's been a very much fumbling on the temporary foreign worker program that a lot of our agriculture businesses here depend on. So a BC Liberal government would be paying particularly attention to providing incentives for people to want to return to work. And we can do that by assisting small business to help offer competitive wages, competitive packages. We cannot have people staying at home when small businesses and others are desperately looking for the labor force.
So our plan is to actually increase the personal income tax exemption from the $18,000 that it currently is up to $32,000 to sort of drive people back to work, as well as for the businesses, we are going to lower business taxes and eliminate health tax that the employers pay.